So, Coach, a rainy day in San Antonio, another day where you need an indoor, right?
Yeah, I'm probably one of the few head coaches in Division I programs that we allow our media to come to practice and just y'all can watch. We trust y'all so much, but I always see y'all there on media day. But today I didn't see one of y'all out there, so I don't know what it was. But yeah, it was one of those kind of days, no doubt. So anybody that feels sorry for the Roadrunners and wants to make a donation, we'll love to put your name on an indoor right now.
Jeff, have you guys thought through all the logistics of how you're going to handle having signing day the day after the bowl game and what that's going to look like through the next week?
Yeah, it's just, it's so different now because it's also digital. I don't think it's going to be that big a deal. In the old days, you're sitting around waiting by a fax machine. And what does it even matter anymore? I mean, if they sign it and they don't really want to, they can get out of it probably. It's not, with all the guys you're getting, anybody from a transfer portal, they can take as long as they want to till you get them, till you get their rear ends in their seat on the first day of class. There's really nothing binding anymore, to be very honest with you. So there was a day where we all sat around, that was the biggest day of the year, and I'm not so sure it is anymore. I think every day is National Signing Day.
Are you guys going to have like a setup at the hotel for that morning, or is it just really not important to do that sort of thing?
No. We'll probably be on a bus coming back. We know who we're going to get and who we're probably not going to get right now. And then you're just trying to hold on until first day of class, get them in their seat. And then when you go to spring ball, you coach them. When spring's up, we'll do all this again. When we tip it off first game of the year, we'll see who's playing that game. It's just college football. It is what it is. I'm excited about it. I really am. We've got a great team coming back again next year. We'll be good again.
What's the strategy between dividing the early period in December and then the regular period in February? You just try and get as many as you can in the early?
Not as many as you can, the ones you want.
Yeah.
Because it's going to all come back open again after spring. So you just never want to, if you're not, it's not that complicated. If the guys you're bringing in are not as good or better than the guys in your room, then you're taking the wrong guy. It's really not that complicated. Don't take anybody on the team that's not as good or better than somebody already on the team. So it's really not that complicated.
But do you have to save some numbers in your pocket for after spring, I guess, to see?
Only if you're trying to get, like for example, we have a number assigned to each position on the entire team, which gets to 85. So let's just say your receiver number is 10, and you only have 8 because you just couldn't get the 2 that you thought you might get that were better that just didn't come. Well, then you still got those 2. I'm not going to fill up just to fill up. I'll keep numbers for your point later in the year. Somebody comes in, it's just a surprise. Because a lot of times these coaches, not even trying to be deceitful, will tell the kids there's going to be a competition in the spring, and they go through the spring and they realize something didn't come the way they wanted it, and they get in the portal. I mean, that's how we lost our first one that way. Obviously, the second one we lost, it was a lot earlier.
Is it harder to set those numbers and have those targets with player movement being what it is now? Do you approach that differently than you used to?
Oh yeah, it's totally different. It's very, it's always changing because who knows, after our bowl game, somebody might walk in. I don't think so. I've got a pretty good handle on my team. And if it was just me and my kids, there is nothing really to worry about. It's the third party now that's in kids' ears that, to be honest, are not telling the truth most of the time. So they're trying to benefit themselves out of the deal.
You talk about navigating the transfer portal yourself. When you're recruiting these high school kids, how do you preach, that to them? 'Cause if I'm a senior in high school and I'm looking at, going to a school, are there any concerns about, hey, what about this transfer portal if a kid comes in and takes my spot? Do you have to, talk about that with the high school kids that you're recruiting?
If they're the best ones, they'll play. I mean, Jamal Liggins has started every game that he's been here. I have no problem. McEwen's been on the field since he's been here as a freshman. If they can play, they're going to play. It's just a matter if they're better than the guys in the room. What I do is treat every kid like they're my own child. And when Jordan Traylor or Luke Turner, who's on my staff, a lot of guys I've coached, when we were trying to make our decisions, we just looked at their roster, at where we were headed. And the kids know, I think I'm better than that guy, or I'm not as good as that guy. And then that has a lot to do with your decision where you go. I'd always check the roster. When I was coaching my kids as a high school coach, we always looked at the roster. No different now that I'm coaching these guys. Because you really don't want to be a 7th-round draft pick. You want to be a free agent, because then you can look at all the other 32 teams and know where roster you want to try to go to. Because you know these guys don't have very much of this position. In my position, I'm better than those guys. I'm going to go to that team. It's no different. High school, college, NFL, you're always looking at those kind of things.
You're asked this question, I think, every recruiting cycle, but how have you seen UTSA's profile in the recruiting landscape, I guess, change year to year, now to this year?
Yeah, it's just every year we're every single season I've been here, we're able to get guys on campus that we used to not get on campus. And so it's just gotten better and better and better. Winning always helps, for sure, but facilities help, and, you know, national name recognition, championships, bowl appearances, national TV appearances, AAC, all that stuff matters, no doubt.
Is there any more frustration this cycle? Because it seems like NIL and transfer portal is more at the head front of recruiting.
If we don't get our NIL up, our collectives up, and I'm very grateful, we'll get left behind pretty quickly, and it's just what it is. It's nothing crazy either. I mean, the smallest things help. I mean, like the smallest little bit helps. Because we just, when we sit down with them, we just can't, when they say certain numbers like, you just need to go visit somebody else. We're not in that realm. So we kind of know that. But most of the kids that want to come here, they're not like that. They just want to be on a good team, be taken care of, live in a great city. We've got all that. But we've got to be able to get our NIL money up.
Do you save more spots on the roster, or can you be more selective in the high school recruiting process because of the amount of guys who are in the transfer portal and how easy it is to fill that way?
Sure. I mean, I know y'all fixed to interview Devin McHugh. There's no way I'm probably getting Devin McHugh. Well, probably if I hadn't coached his family and known him for 30 years, I wouldn't have got him anyway. But you're not going to get those kind of guys because they're probably going to way bigger schools. But there's a lot of good high school players that are still out there because everybody's just in the transfer portal. Because people have gotten so crazy, they fire coaches now in 1 year, 2 years. Well, why you want to try to develop a freshman so you can have him in 3 or 4 years when you might not be there to coach him? So it's all crazy. It's all crazy. But there's some very, very good high school players that we're having to make decisions on right now. Which way are we going to go? Because the other negative is, like, Devin could leave me tomorrow if he wants to, because you take a great freshman every time he makes a play out there. I'm thinking, well, somebody is going to try to get my freshman right there, right? Well, if you take a transfer, you at least got them. You get to coach them, right? Until they change that rule. And when they change that rule, and that'll be another day we'll cross.
Is there a heightened importance still on the relationship component to be able to retain a player like that?
So that's what it is. He knows he can make more money if he leaves me right now. He could go in the portal right now and make way more than we're going to be able to pay him here. But his parents and his family understands kids don't get the National Football League right here, and that's where the real money's going to be made. You're talking about thousands versus millions. So that does still matter. What we have to do, which we've done a good job of, is make it where our guys that make plays do well enough that it's not worth the risk to go. And that's what we have to do here to stay in the game and keep winning like we're winning.
Bowl prep, Coach. Was today your last practice here in San Antonio before heading out?
No, we'll get one tomorrow, and then we'll get some small Friday, and then those guys will get on the bus and they'll go to Frisco, and we're going to fly. The staff's going to fly down. The on-field guys are going to fly down so we can be on the sideline and watch Chapel Hill play first. Then we'll watch Gilmer and Belleville next, and we'll watch Smithson Valley and Lido in that last one. So we'll see all 3 games. We'll have our whole staff there. That'll be pretty cool. Have all 11 of us on the sideline for a Texas High School State Championship. I don't know if all my staff has been a part of that, but Kurt and I have got to actually coach in that a few times in that place, so it's always an incredible experience. So I'm excited for my guys to see all that.
You see the big man out there, but you now taking in these last couple moments with your senior class out here on the practice field, is it kind of still sinking in for you?
Yeah, I just spoke on that. I mean, I've never seen T. Haynes practice so hard in my life. Rashad is always pretty, great, but even he's been way more intentional. I mean, Kalechi, Lucas Dean. I mean, you can start naming them all for Ernesto. Guys that have been with me this entire time. Frank. you can just see it's their last time, and I can tell it's affecting the younger guys because the younger guys want to send those guys off the right way. We're going to give it our best. There's no guarantee for a win, but it sure increases your odds when you're always doing your best.
Jeff, you're taking your full coaching staff to?
Full staff.
That's pretty impressive. What does that say to be able to do that?
Well, I told them they probably didn't want to ride the bus. And we had a booster that took care of us that was very, very, like always, I put out a few texts and I had 3 or 4 boosters trying to take care of us like that instant. And I'd give you his name, but he probably would kill me for giving his name out. So, but I'm very grateful for him doing that for us. And yeah, I'm excited. We'll get a good practice in, jump on the jet and get to Dallas and watch 3 great state championship games with some guys we're recruiting as well.
Thank you,
y'all.
Jeff.